welcome back to the Afropolitan podcast. Hope you're all doing well. My name is Feni, and today we are going to be talking about managing production for premium and luxury brands. So production departments are typically found within premium and luxury brands, like I've just said. So those are fashion brands such as Burberry, JW, and we also find them in premium brands such as Reiss, Fred Perry, Ted Baker, some All Saints, some other luxury brands such as Victoria Beckham. They all have production departments, and the responsibility of the production department is to ensure that the production schedule is met and shipments are made to customers in time. So that is basically ensuring the factories that are manufacturing the goods, so whether that's a factory that's making shirts, making dresses, making trainers, footwear, accessories, bags, whatever it is, the role of the production department is to ensure that the factory manufacture and ship those goods by the date that we've confirmed with them, and then the goods then are shipped or aired, however, to the distribution center. Then from the distribution center, the goods are then dispatched out to either stores or to distributors that sell the brand's goods. So the typical roles within or job, like the day-to-day tasks within the production department are liaising with suppliers on a daily basis, so communicating with the factories, seeing how production is progressing. Production is monitored via a critical path. That's basically a document that lists all the different stages within the production process, and we monitor how the factory is progressing with each individual garment, each individual accessory, footwear style, whatever that they're making. The production department works with several departments within a retail business. So they work alongside the quality team or technical team, depending on, there's some companies call it technical team, some companies call it quality. So working closely with them, because they're the ones that will be receiving the samples from the factory prior to the good shipping. So a gold seal sample, which is a representation of what the garment will look like once they've got all the bulk components in-house. They also review all the bulk testing to see whether the garment is fit for purpose, or the accessory footwear is fit for purpose, and it's okay to be sold in stores or to be sold, period. So we work alongside the technical team or the QA team to ensure that they're, once they've got the samples or they've got the testing, they're reviewing it in a timely manner, so the ship date isn't impacted, or if there are issues, if there are testing failures, if there is a quality issue, ensuring that they resolve that with the factory ASAP to not hinder the ship date. Also working very closely with in the company that I work for, it's called the customer service team or direct shipments team, but in some businesses it's called the wholesale team. So they're the people that will liaise with the distributors in regards to what stock that they have, that they've ordered. Also dealing closely with the logistics team in regards to shipping of the goods. If goods are running late and there's an important launch, or there's a big marketing campaign behind particular launch, and we have to ensure that one style or accessory, whatever it is not late for launch and is not late to be launched on the website, to be launched in stores. We liaise with logistics team to see if maybe we can air freight it instead of it going by sea, which takes longer, and so forth. So the production department, they work with several areas of the business, product development as well. They work alongside with sometimes, and even in certain businesses, the production department will actually do some of the roles in another business that maybe the technical team would do. So maybe that's like approving bulk fabrics, so the fabrics that are going to be used for the goods and so forth. But in my particular company, we don't do that. But it's not uncommon for people working in the production department to actually be more involved in the more technical side of the production process and actually approving the quality side of things. Also in certain businesses, the production team will actually sit within fit sessions, so they'll actually be reviewing alongside with the quality team or technical team, who, when they have fit sessions. So fit session is where a fit model comes in and they try the samples that we've received from the factory to see if they are fit for purpose, if there are any amendments that need to happen. Does it sit well, does it feel right, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. So in some businesses, the production department will actually sit in those fit sessions, but where I personally work, we don't do that, but it's not uncommon. So doing things in a timely manner is very, very key within the production department, and regularly talking to the suppliers is very key as well, because we want to ensure that our production is being prioritized, and that then they're not slacking, and they're still going to adhere to that ship date that we agreed with them. Also, it's a very, working in fashion is very fast paced anyway, but you have to be very adaptable. You have to have a lot of patience. You have to be a team player, because you're working not just along with your fellow team members, but you're also working with the different departments. You have to have good analytical skills, because you're looking at the critical path for a production report, seeing maybe if things aren't making sense in the report, because sometimes some suppliers might manipulate data, or you might see that a style is stagnant and it's not progressing, so it actually might not be able to make that ship date. So maybe the gold seal hasn't been sent yet, or maybe bulk testing hasn't been sent yet, and the ship date is approaching, and goods can't ship unless everything has been quality approved and checked. So it's making sure the suppliers adhere to the schedule, basically. Other things that would be involved in the role are things such as when the factory is ready to ship, checking the factory packing list. Are they shipping the correct styles that they're supposed to be shipping as per what we agreed? Are they shipping the correct quantities? If there are any shortages or whatnot, then as long as they're in the tolerance. So there's an industry standard tolerance of around 3 to 5%. So the factory can either ship 3% less of what we'd originally agreed with them, or 3% more, and that then goes up to 5%. So if there's shortages or overages that are within the tolerance, then it's fine. Also, in some instances as well, the production department is quite heavily involved in terms of receiving the samples from the factories and then taking them to the relative departments. But in the particular role that I do, we don't really get involved in that. But supplier management and supplier relationships are very important. So obviously COVID's happened now, but one of the things that we'll do sometimes is go and visit manufacturers. So actually go to the factory, if there are any issues and challenges that we're experiencing with them at the moment, talking about that. Actually seeing, okay, are they working on our garments at the moment? Is our production on the line? And so forth. So trips to suppliers are very common. And another thing that's also very important within the production process, because I've just been talking about what the schedule looks like and what we've got to monitor in terms of bulk production. So that's stock that's actually going to be sold in stores or sold in our distributors. So maybe a business might have some of their stock sold in John Lewis or Selfridges, or JD Sports, whatever the brand is. So yeah, so what I was just talking about is related to bulk production, but also production departments also manage the process of salesman samples, aka SMS samples, which is like industry acronym. So SMS stands for salesman samples, and salesman samples are basically a scaled down version of what distributors would be getting for the next season. So it's basically like a sample to show like, okay, this is an idea of what we have for the next season coming up. So salesman samples tend to be they're extremely important, because without a salesman sample, a distributor won't know what to expect, although they're not the final garment of what they'll be receiving for their order, but at least it gives them an indication of, okay, like this is what the style is going to look like. Okay, I want to order X amount of this. So for the company that I work for, every quarter, so we work in quarters, so there's 4 quarters in a year, and then there's 2 seasons. So there's spring, summer, and then there's autumn, winter. So within the 2 seasons, there's 2 different quarters. So Q1 and Q2, then Q3 and Q4. So, we're chasing the salesman samples in. So there's an exhibition where distributors come, they see the collection, they have talks from, I think, product development, and design and marketing, and they just basically hear about what's coming up for the next season and so forth. So with that, having the samples in time is key. Having the samples, for the actual showroom is key. So when they come around, they can see the samples. So in the role that I do, where like it can get really, really hectic, which is why I was saying that you need to be adaptable. You need to be able to handle a lot of work, basically, because at times we're chasing in bulk production as well as SMS as well. So yeah, having a lot of patience, also a good communication skills are very key, and being able to adapt, like I mentioned before, because not all suppliers are the same. Some suppliers you really need to sort of micromanage and check regularly with them. How's SMS going? How's production going? Okay, if there are issues, what are the issues? Whereas with some suppliers, you can just let them get along with it, and you just ask them to update you regularly, or you check on them regularly, and it's fine. So yeah, so that's another part of the production process, and what it entails to what it's like working in a production department within a fashion retail business. So if you're to go into like an entry-level role within production, the main tasks would be like data entry, so maybe raising purchase orders. So purchase orders are basically like a contract between the retail company and the manufacturer, where it's officially saying that these are the styles that we want you to make, or this is the product that we want you to make. This is the quantity, and we need it by the date. So it'll have all the maybe, I don't know what to call them, technical details, but it'll have like the style name, the style code, which you find if you buy garments, or if you buy accessories, whatever, and you look on the back, and then you see that there's a sticker and there's a barcode, but you also see that there's a number, and there's also a description. So that description is the style name, and then that number is the style code. So within retail businesses, we either use style names or style codes to talk about different products. So the purchase order, that basically confirms with the manufacturer that we want you to make these goods. We need them by this date. So if you're in a production department or in certain businesses, the role of the production assistant or production admin assistant, production administrator, the titles are different in different companies, but yeah, and also sometimes the job roles are different. But in certain companies, I know the production department will be raising purchase orders and sending them to the suppliers if there are any date changes, so if the supplier is running late, or even if they have improvements and they're able to ship early, updating that on the system, on the internal system that we use. Also, another task would be like when the factory is ready to ship, reviewing the packing lists, detailing what they're shipping. Again, some companies that they, like I said earlier, they might, the production assistant might, or admin assistant or whoever might be involved in maybe getting the samples that the manufacturers have sent through and then handing them over to the technical team. So yeah, that's like what you maybe you'd be doing, starting off, getting into like the role, and then maybe as you progress, then you have certain manufacturers that maybe you'd actually look after, and you're monitoring their production and so forth. And then as you go on, maybe opportunities of traveling to factories and so forth will be available to you. So yeah, so I just wanted to explain about fashion production management, because it is quite a niche role within the fashion industry. Not all companies have them, and it typically tends to be companies of like premium brands or luxury brands that I mentioned earlier in the video. But that production is what I am at the moment, and it's something that I sort of fell into because when I started in the industry, I didn't even really know that there was a production department like that, because in some brands, in some companies, what the production department does are maybe some certain tasks that in another company that the merchandising department might do, or the buying department might do, or even the tech team. So, but I once I started to work with industry for a couple of years, I actually kind of fell into the role because of a previous company that I was with, and they sort of had like a restructure within the company, and then I was sort of moved into a production role, which is how I'm now in production today. So yeah, I think it's a very niche part of the industry, and it's a very very important role within the business. So I just wanted to share that with you guys today, because I think when people think, not even I know when people think of the fashion industry, typically what tends to come up is, okay, maybe a fashion designer, or like somebody who works in store. They don't really, okay, and maybe people know buyers and merchandisers, but people don't really realize that there's so many other different areas within fashion that you can work in, and it's not just the glam stuff, like maybe like PR and marketing or design. You can go into product development, which is still very very creative as well. I mean, if you're not a creative but you still want to be within the industry, maybe you could go and work in logistics team, or you can go and work in planning if you're very analytical, or merchandising, or you can go and work in the production department, the production team. So yeah, I just thought I would do a quick video today on managing production, talking a bit about the production department, and the important role that it plays within a business, and what we do as a production team on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, so please like, comment and share. Please let me know your thoughts. Please let me know if there's any other videos that you want me to do that are related to fashion. I will be doing more fashion orientated content, talking about my knowledge and my experience. But if you guys have any particular videos that you want me to do in regards to industry, please let me know, and please leave a comment. But stay blessed, and see you guys soon. Bye.